Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you already know I asked you to do it. I know every single day I ask you to do it, but it's so important. We want to grow our tribe. We want to get bigger. The more the merrier, let me tell you. And because of that, I ask every time for y'all to go down in your settings. Yes, go right down here, look in those settings, find that subscribe button, and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell too so you'll know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, the bees, the algorithm. It is on the warpath, let me tell you. It is stomping up and down these internet streets and taking no prisoners, let me tell you. But also, right about here, that's our join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I'll be so grateful, so thankful, so over the moon appreciative to have your support. Also, if you just want to do a one time donation, our super thanks button is right over there. And all donations to the channel is always greatly appreciated. All right, y'all. With all that said, let's get to the read because y'all already know I have a lot. I do because y'all know I'm nosy. Y'all know I stay in these internet streets, and y'all know anything that I find, I'm gonna bring it to the front so we can talk about it, we can chat about it, we can kiki about it, and that's exactly what is gonna happen today. I mean, I was putting the read together. And I jumped in these internet streets. I was all over the place. I went to every social media platform except Facebook. And y'all know how I feel about Facebook. Anyway, I got to have a better attitude about Facebook. I'm just saying. But anyway, I was on all the social media platforms that I like. I was over to Blue Sky, spent a lot of time over there. I was over to Instagram. Oh, love Instagram. They're all over the place, still over the moon, talking about Megan with Love Megan, talking about the kids in the new video about Guy, talking about Guy and the loss of Guy. That's a big topic. Guy went viral because I'm telling you, I have never saw so many posts about a, a dog that has passed away in my life. And I hate to say this, but Kate, you know, all of her comebacks hadn't even broke through like Guy passing away and all the lies that they be cooking up trying to plant, stories in the media trying to drum up sympathy for her. And it's just not working for them. I mean, like I said, Guy passing away has gotten way more traction and way more press than anything that they have come up with since Harry and Meghan left them behind. I'm just saying. But yeah, so that's what they're talking about on Instagram. Then I made my way over to X, formerly known as Twitter. And I'm telling you, the dragon is going on over to X, formerly known as Twitter. If you want to experience some dragons, go over there. I was in on quite a few of them. And one of them, the dragon is what is his name? Arthur Edwards. Arthur Edwards had the nerve to do this big write up in the sun, just absolutely crying like a baby, talking about they overmix it, but Harry can come home if he wants to. Yes, yes, yes. So the squatties are talking about that, and of course they're talking about little Guy and just posting some really beautiful pictures of Guy. I am going to go through some at the end, toward the end of the podcast. We're going to talk about it and remember Guy a little bit more because we all love Guy. He was part of the Sussex squad. He was absolutely part of who we are. as a group because we love all the Sussexes, and he is a Sussex. He was a Markle, and then when Meghan married, he became a Sussex. So yes, we're going to talk a little bit about Guy. But first, we're going to talk about Arthur Edward and his big breakdown on the pages of the Sun rag, the Sun tabloid. I mean, he had a full on meltdown and a full on crying pity party talking about they're over Brexit. 5 years later, they're over Brexit. If you're over it, why are you still talking about it? I'm just saying. I'm going to put this up. And here it is. Here is him posting his big write up that he had in the Sun. All the crying, all the holding of the stomach, all of the absolutely riding by to see if Harry and Meghan is home. Like an old crazy ex that are riding around your neighborhood just to see if your lights on. This is the feel that this whole article gives me. And this particular squatty absolutely reposted his post and said this: can't stop talking about Harry and Meghan for one single effing day, but sure, you're over it. Exactly. Yes, that it sounds like someone who's trying to talk themselves into believing that they're over something. In actuality, they're not. They're not. I cannot believe these people actually did a full on write up about 5 years later. We're talking about a half of a decade. Aren't you? Do you have no shame? Do you absolutely have no shame to absolutely go into this full on tantrum and full on pity party 5 years later? We're not talking 1 year later. We're not talking a few months after it happened. We're talking about a half a decade later. These people are still crying on the pages of these tabloids, and it is pathetic to say the least. I'm just saying. I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty absolutely said what I just said. They are like absolute scorned exes. People you have dumped and they don't know when to stop. They can't absolutely get their head around that you just don't love them no more. You just don't want them no more. And this particular squatty said this: sounds like an ex who claimed to be over somebody but drives past their house every day. Where's the lie? Because every time it's a microphone, every time it's a camera in front of Arthur Edward, he is crying over Harry. He is begging Harry to come back. He is reminiscing about the good times that was had. Tell me that right there is not some kind of crazy ex who absolutely cannot get the message that the one that you love so much has moved on. But this particular squatty goes on to say, yeah, sure, you are over it. That's why it's 20 daily articles written about those you claim to be in the rearview mirror. Where is the lie? On any given day, at any given time, you can go and find article after article after article printed in those rags and talked about on GB News and Talk TV. And most of the time, if Harry and Meghan absolutely sneeze 5,000 miles away, it's going to be on ITV and the BBC and on, oh yeah, the Jeremy Vine show. The Jeremy Vine show. It is going to be on there. And yet and still they want to try to tell us that they're over it. Only if they were. Only if they were absolutely had moved on and is over it, we could all have some peace. I'm telling you. But but this squatty goes on to say, uh well, let me go ahead and reread it. It says, yeah, sure, you are over it. That's why it's 20 daily articles written about those you claim that to be in the rearview mirror and irrelevant. Who you trying to convince? I think themselves. Because anybody who has any kind of sense and has been paying just slightly paying attention know that this is nonsense. These people are completely obsessed with Harry and Meghan, and this particular man is absolutely obsessed with Harry. Like I said, every time it's a camera, every time it's a microphone. I remember when poor Prince Philip was dead in his box. They was having his funeral, or was it his memorial? I think it was his memorial because Harry came to the funeral, but he did not come to the memorial. And all he could do was sit on television and cry that Harry didn't come. He should be here. Why isn't he here? This is a time for him to be with his family. Why is he not here? Well, he was just over there. Every time he showed up over there, y'all lose y'all's mind and just try in some way to punish him. So why would he show up for that? But I never will forget, he was on television just crying because Harry did not show up for Prince Philip's memorial. So this particular squatter also said 5 years on and toxic. What is the lie? 5 years. We're talking a half a decade, and they're still writing an article about the fifth year. About, I would be ashamed. I would be embarrassed. How pathetic. I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatter said this: it's truly pathetic that you guys are running a huge cover story about Harry and Meghan's 5 year UK exit anniversary. Tell me you're pathetic without telling me you're pathetic. Is this not the most pathetic thing for anybody to ever do? And then claim that they're over it. But this squatter goes on to say, and claim you guys are over it in the same breath. Where is the lie? Absolute. I'm telling you, a huge spread. Y'all saw it, a huge spread of them whining and just absolutely rehashing the same thing over and over and over again. I have never saw anything like it before in my life. I'm telling you. And this squatter goes on to say, you'll never be over it. That's the issue. That has always been the issue. I have said so many times on this podcast and to the television and to myself and to people we were discussing Harry and Meghan. I was discussing Harry and Meghan with, why won't these people move on? I can't tell you how many times those words have fallen from my lips. Why will these people not move on? But they are completely stuck, cannot move on, and now can't move on, but trying to gaslight us into believing that they have. And tomorrow, right after this article where they said that they have moved on and they have gotten past it, it is going to be 20 plus articles about just nothing, stuff that they have reached in the sky and got out of nowhere and have wrote article after article after article. I'm telling you, I have never saw a couple who, when they do something, they generate hundreds of articles, and when they don't do anything, they generate hundreds of articles. I have never saw anything like it. And yet and still they want to gaslight us into believing that they have moved on. But this squatter goes on to say, you guys have such broken brains and have never recovered. Where is the lie? And will they ever recover? I have just given up at this point. I used to think, and that is the reason why I held off so long starting my podcast, is because I said, this cannot continue to go on. And I have said this time and time again, being an American, this is really weird to us, okay? Because we're notorious for moving on. If something is not work, we will move on, or whatever's happening, any kind of event, we move on. We are just, this is alien to us that people continue to stay stuck on something like this. Like Harry is a person who has a right to his own life. It's as if they don't think that he has a right to his own life. And somehow he has scorned them and rejected them by choosing to have a different type of life. They don't have the ability to take themselves out of the equation and see that in actuality, it is not about them. It's Harry moving on, going a whole different direction, and just choosing not to play the game anymore. But they just take it as a slight, they take it as a personal slight. They do. Harry is never abandoning his family. Harry is never going back. What? Tell me what part of that you don't understand. Harry is not going to abandon his family. Some of the people who have made comments that I have read that they said in it, he's saying that give up your life, pretty much give up your life in California and come back. Come back and just bow down and put your neck in a position where William and your father can put their feet on your neck. Of course, he would want to do that so you can take pictures of him and make money. These people are crazy. I'm they are certified insane. To think Harry would give up his life of freedom, doing and going wherever he wants to do, and having the independence, the financial independence to do whatever he wants to and not have to answer to anybody, including the British public for anything because he is not on the public dole like that family over there. So he gets to live his life on his own terms. Who would give that up? Who would give that up? And Arthur Edwards want him to come back so he can take pictures of him and he can make money and he can feel important again because people would be engaging in his pictures and oh, they just miss that so much. But they don't care if Harry is happy or not. They don't care if he is a deadbeat father or not and has abandoned his two small children. No, it's all about him coming back so he can make money. So the British media can use him, you know, to be able to save them from absolutely slipping down the drain because we all know that they are circling it. And it doesn't it's not Harry's fault that they're circling it. It's not Harry's fault that they are circling the drain. It's not. It's their fault because they bet on the wrong horse. And if they are so close to Charles and William, they should have told Charles and William that they weren't going to go along with this nonsense, that Harry was the goose that laid the golden egg, and they were going to go with that, and they needed to fall in line. But they didn't do that. They went along with Charles and William. So since you went along with them and you're circling the drain, tell them to help you keep you from slipping down the drain. Harry is not going to sacrifice his life for that nonsense. I'm just saying. And it goes on to say, when Harry goes back to the UK, he's in and out in 24 hours. I believe he was in and out in 17 this last time because Harry did not even bother to get a hotel room. Let me tell you, if he did, it was just to change his clothes because Harry did not put his head on a pillow while he was over there. And boy, did that hurt their feelings. Let me tell you, the belly aching, the holding of the stomach, the crying, the tears, the rolling around. I'm telling you, it was epic to say the least. But Harry could care less. Harry was on a plane to Africa, to South Africa, to his real brother. He was over there to Prince Ciso's, yes, where he was welcome, where he's loved, where he's respected, and where he is embraced. He did not waste not no any time over there. And I love it. I love when he does the turnaround. I love it. And it goes on to say, that should tell you all you need to know about his desire to be in the UK. But I do think Harry absolutely loved his home country, but they made it impossible for him to stay. They made it impossible for him to stay. So now his home is somewhere else. He has made his home somewhere else because he had no peace there. And did he try? Nobody can say he did not try. He absolutely wrote open letters to the press on 3 occasions telling them to leave them alone. But they would have none of it because they felt that they had the winning hand in Charles, in William, in Kate, and the horse. And it comes out that no, they did because they really thought that Harry and Meghan shine was just something that was due to their titles, due to their position within that family. They really thought when Harry and Meghan left, nobody was going to be interested in them, but boy, were they wrong. They have underestimated Harry and Meghan from the beginning. And Harry and Meghan has always risen past any expectation anybody has had for them. And Harry, y'all know how I love to talk about Harry and how he levels up. Every time they think that they have done something to Harry, Harry levels up. He levels up. They try to pull him down, he flies higher. And the same with Meghan. Look at Meghan. They have done everything they can to try to bury her, to absolutely try to destroy her. And what does Meghan do? Meghan keeps coming back. She keeps coming back. She keeps showing up and she keeps leveling up. And I just love it. I do. Don't make me dance now. All right, y'all. I'm going to put this up. And Kate Manzi had the audacity to repost what Arthur Edwards had done and had the nerve to try to gaslight us into believing that, yeah, they have gotten over Harry and Meghan. And why are you posting about it if you gotten over it? Why the big production? Why? I have never had a big production for anything that I have gotten over. The whole definition of getting over something is forgetting about it and moving on to something new. But yet and still these people are posting about the person that they said the people they said are in the rear view mirror. And every one of them over there posted about Guy. They did. It is on my timeline. But yet and still somehow they have moved on. But yet and still anything about Meghan, including her dog, makes the headlines over there. I hadn't checked the Daily Fail today, but I'm sure Guy is right at the top, been at the top the whole time. Because at the end of the day, Guy can hold the top, uh, the top story longer than Kate or William, and especially Charles and his horse. Guy can hang up there at the top way longer than them folks over there because 2 hours is pretty much top for them on the Daily Fail website. But I bet Guy has been holding it down with his precious little self. I bet he has. But yes, Kate Manzi posted this and she said, there's a considered, passionate, and thoughtful piece in The Sun today written by Arthur Edwards. Mexit, 5 years on. We're over it. Yes, you so over it, you posting about it. Do they not see how stupid and crazy that is? And I'm telling you, y'all know how I do it. I ran to the comments. I did. I said, every time she posts something, they cook her in the comments. They stuck a stick up her back, put her on a spit, and absolutely hung her over a open fire and proceeded to turn her over and over again, meaning they roasted her. I'm telling you, Meghan has them in a chokehold and they want to pretend like they're not. I can breathe. I can breathe. I'm in this chokehold and she is just about to choke me out, but I can breathe. Gaslighting us into trying to believe that this is normal. This chokehold is normal. We don't care. We don't care. Yeah, okay. They absolutely gambled on the wrong people. And they really thought that they would put so much pressure on Meghan, her and Harry would break up, that it would absolutely break the marriage. And Meghan, I just got a picture I'm gonna share with Meghan and Guy. Meghan is walking around there gardening. Meghan is so unbothered with their nonsense. She don't read any of it. She is so busy raising her family, working on things, her passion projects, and absolutely in her garden and with her animals. She is not worried about any of the nonsense. I have said this time and time again. These people are so used to having the power to make or break someone, the power of a life and death, that now they don't understand why this has not worked on Harry and Meghan, because it doesn't work anymore. That's why. She is totally and completely unbothered. And I just love that for y'all. Y'all are just flailing away over there, just absolutely spewing all of your bile, and it is absolutely rolling off of her like she is wearing a Teflon Versace pantsuit. It is just rolling off of her. And I just love that for y'all. All right, I'm going to put up this one. And this particular squatty said this to Kate Manzi, having the nerve to post about saying that it's a thoughtful piece and they have gotten over mix it. Well, why are you posting about it, Kate? I'm just saying. But this particular squatty said this: you will never be over it. You know why? Just gonna tell him why. He said, number one, Kate Middleton lacks eloquence. Where is the lie? Where is the lie? She absolutely lacks the eloquence that which is actually the shine. She lacks that. She really do. And then it says talent, intelligent projects which makes impact across the UK. Where is the lie in that? Where is a project that Kate has championed that has changed anybody's life? I'm waiting. I am waiting. What project has Kate championed that has made an impact? Period. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. She has been in that family for well over 20 years and only traveled abroad, what? Once? And that was to, what was it, Denmark? Kay has done nothing. Nothing. And it says, too, Meghan walked away from the most British roles would have given anything for. Where is the lie? That sticks in their craw too, because Kate Manzi would have gave her right arm, 5 fingers, and a toe to be in Meghan's spot, to have been the person that Prince Harry fell in love with, to have became a princess, a duchess. She absolutely would have done that. And they feel some kind of way about it because Meghan, they feel, but she didn't, but they feel she kind of poo-pooed it when she left. Because you're supposed to take anything to absolutely have that position. What we as Americans, I guess, I know that they tell us what we don't understand is that that is the cream of the crop of society, the royals are. And that's what everybody wants to try to social climb into. And Meghan absolutely was given the brass ring, and somehow she was not appreciative of it. She actually thought she should be treated the same as Kate. She really thought she should be treated fairly. She thought she should be treated with respect. She actually thought that. But no, she was supposed to take any old grimy treatment handed to her. If they absolutely took a plate and put cow manure on it, she was supposed to eat it up and say to Charles, could she have more? And Meghan, being of the mindset that she is, that she did not feel that she was less than in any way, because she wasn't. She did not believe in the social structures of this nonsense that they call a firm or a monarchy. She looked at them as human beings, people just like her. And she expected fairness. She expected to be treated as everyone else was being treated. But my whole thing is, it was a big clue for Meghan when they refused to make her part of, you know, the firm, that she would not be, she wasn't a UK citizen, so she couldn't even get health insurance. It wasn't even provided by the firm, so she could not get health insurance through the NHS because she was not yet a UK citizen. So she was out there hanging, twisting in the wind. And Charles would not pay anything for Meghan, anything. And while he was paying everything for Kate, because that's what Harry said, that Charles said he was already paying for Kate and he had no money to pay for Meghan. But he had money. Now we know he had plenty of money. He just absolutely did not want to pay for Meghan. But this particular squatter goes on to say, and accept public humiliation, side eye from heirs in return for it. They absolutely would have accepted the public humiliation. They absolutely would have accepted the side eyes from the heirs in return for it. But they couldn't understand why Meghan felt that she was better than that, because they don't think any better of themselves. Who in the world absolutely thinks someone is better than you by birth, and you bow to them and you show deference to them and you call them your majesty? I'm just saying. So why would they ever think that they was just as good as Charles? But Meghan was raised in an environment that she was taught by her mother that she is just as good as anybody else, and she never veered from that one bit while she was over there across the pond. And that really makes me proud of Meghan, because at the end of the day, you know, in the real world, the real world where you use logic, nobody is any better than anybody else. We are all born and we all die. And that's the way it is. But I love that about Meghan. I do. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I am going to put this up. And I found this in People. And because I did not want to go over there to the Sun, I was not going to give them any clicks, any kind of acknowledgement to Arthur Edwards with his nonsense that he's spewing on the pages of that rag. I would not give him a click. But of course, People magazine absolutely wrote an article about the 5-year anniversary. So I decided to use People magazines. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to break it down in sections. I'm going to cover each section on different podcasts, because I want to do it justice. And the reason I say I want to do it justice, because it goes through year by year by year by year. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to go through exactly what happened year by year to Harry and Meghan, and us talk about it and absolutely look back on it. Because I have said this many times ago, many times before, that so much happens that we forget what has been done, what all these people have done, and what Harry and Meghan has gone through. And a lot of new squatties don't even know. So since they're taking the opportunity to look back, I am going to take the opportunity to look back. So the rest of the week, I'm going to cover each year. This particular podcast, I am going to cover 2020 when they announced that they were leaving, and we're going to talk about that. And then the next podcast, I'm going to talk about 2021 when they were, when they left and when, they went, pretty much underground. We were in the pandemic and how it was so relentless even during that time. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Today, we're going to talk about 2020 and what happened. So I'm going to put this up. I hope I explained it, so you can understand what we're going to do. Each day, we're going to cover a year, and we're going to talk about what happened within that year. We're going to talk about other things too, but we're going to talk about what happened in that year. So we're going to do something like a series. I'm going to do something like a series. And today we're going to talk about 2020. So I'm going to put this up, and the name of the article is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's royal exit 5 years later. Here's what they said about the decision. In actuality, they hadn't said anything about the decision. They're going back and get old quotes and looking back on what they have said in the past. It says the couple has been candid about why they decided to forge a new path on January 8th, 2020. Yes, yes, yes. The day that will live in infamy. I remember where I was. I was like, what is going on here? Because I was just enjoying Harry and Meghan. I was in squatty heaven. At the time, I didn't know I was a squatty. I was just a fan. I was just absolutely just so captivated with this new couple. Was still on the high from the wedding, and just really, really just looking forward to everything, and was just over the moon about little Archie, and just really starting to say, what is going on here with all this negativity? This woman is only trying to do good. Why do the press keep attacking them? I did not know about the tabloid culture of Great Britain. Just like Megan said, she was an American and she didn't know anything about it. Me being an American, I didn't know anything about it either. I did not know it was these papers who absolutely do nothing but attack its own citizens. I was like, what? And they make up lies and they spy on them and they hack their phones. This is not the culture in which we come from. So I was like, what's going on here? But I was watching and I was hopeful that, it would stop. But I just saw Piers Morgan and I would just be in a rage every day that him attacking Megan. And then I discovered Tina and Michelle, and they started opening my eyes to what this thing was going on. And then by the time we got to this point, I was a full on squatty. I was like, what is going on here? And I was just like, you know, I was a little confused and I was disappointed that I wasn't going to get to see my faves every day doing their thing. I'll put it this way, all the scales hadn't fell from my eyes yet. I didn't have the whole view of what was going on. I didn't know nothing about a full on smear campaign, even though Tina and Michelle was absolutely saying they're doing this. This is coming from the palace. This is coming from Kensington Palace. They never absolutely fooled Tina and Michelle. They absolutely was right on target with everything that they said. And I said to myself, his brother, his brother. And then I was like, I don't know. I mean, just still hoping for the best, but still absolutely listening to Michelle and Tina and Michelle religiously. trying to figure this whole thing out. What is going on here? I was kind of like, well, I was a squatty, but I was not all in because I still held on to hope that, maybe this is not the people that we think they are. Charles, surely he loves his son, and William, surely he loves his brother and he wouldn't do anything to hurt him. Surely this is not what I think I'm, seeing. Surely the horse is not jealous of Megan. Surely Kate is not jealous of Megan. Surely not, really? Yeah, really, they were. But let's go on. Let's get into the article. And it said 5 years ago, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry broke the royal mold. On January 8th, 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex made a bombshell announcement that they plan to step back as senior working royals, writing on Instagram after many months of reflection and internal discussions. And y'all know when this particular announcement came out, what was their narrative? What was the stories they were planning? What was this whole smear campaign's narrative went into full gear? It was Harry and Meghan absolutely surprised the Queen. And it was all about how Harry and Meghan somehow disrespected the Queen by not absolutely discussing anything with her. She was surprised. No discussions with the Queen was made by Harry and Meghan. What horrible people they are. They are having a tantrum. They're throwing their toys out of their pram and all kinds of nonsense to smear them. And Harry clearly said in Spare and in the Oprah interview, and also in Harry and Meghan, the documentary, that he absolutely has so much respect for his grandmother. It's no way he would never, ever do anything like that without having discussions with her, that he would never ever do anything like that. He loves his grandmother. They absolutely tried to keep his grandmother from him. Harry wanted to, after they came in from Canada, to go up and see his grandmother. They wanted to have a conversation with her about stepping back. Stepping back. This was the plan at first for them to step back. And it went on to say, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but let's go on. It says, after many months of reflection and internal discussion, we have chosen to make a transition this year and starting to carve out a progressive new role within the institution. Now, we all know what the narrative was after that when all of this didn't work out. This is Megan's plan the whole time. She never wanted to be a part of that institution. She never wanted to work for the Queen. All she was after was a title. She never ever wanted to be a part of the royal family. Y'all know that they was pushing that narrative that she absolutely never wanted to be within the institution, and that they wanted to break away from the institution. They never wanted to have anything to do with the institution. But in their announcement, they said that they were carving out a progressive new role within the institution. Their intentions was never to leave, and always work for the Queen. But William and Charles chose different because they wanted them gone. Harry refused to give up Meghan, so he had to go too. And that's exactly what it was about. They did not want Meghan there because Meghan was showing them up for the mediocres that they are, and they could not handle it. The shine was too bright for them. I'm just saying. Let's go on. It says, we intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent. When Harry and Meghan did this, it never was about the family. Well, that wasn't their top priority, the family. It was about the media. I think the scales hadn't fully fell from Harry and Meghan's eyes to see that that family was working hand in glove with the media. But at the time, it was about the media. They didn't want to be beholden to the taxpayer because y'all know the running theme in those rags over there was that they live on taxpayer money. They live on taxpayer money. They're not entitled to anything. Basically saying that they're slaves to the British media, that you have to perform because you are taking taxpayer money. And that is the reason why Harry and Meghan wanted to be independent. Not because they wanted to leave the institution, not because they did not want to serve the crown, not because they didn't want to serve the queen. It was because of the press. It was because of the press. And then when the scales started falling off their eyes, they realized the press and the family were one in the same. Were one in the same, with the exception of Prince Philip and the queen. The rest of them was nothing but a bunch of vipers and a bunch of scorpions in there stinging the heck out of Harry and Meghan. If they, I'm telling you, they absolutely was. But it took a little time for Harry and Meghan to figure that out. And it took a little time for me to figure it out too. Because I was sad when this announcement came across. I really was because I enjoyed seeing Harry and Meghan go out and do their job so brilliantly. Little did I know they were in so much pain and they were being absolutely destroyed from within. But it goes on to say, it says, let me read that over. It says, we intend to step back as members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. The statement continued, it is with your encouragement and particularly over the last few years that we feel prepared to make this adjustment. It was never their intent to leave. They wanted to try to gain some control over their life where they didn't have to dance for the press, that the press could not hold the fact that they were taking taxpayer money over them. This is what it was all about. Harry and Meghan wanted to remain within the institution as secondary roles, like Beatrice, like Eugenie, like Zara, like Peter Phillips. Harry and Meghan wanted to get jobs. That's all. They wanted to continue to be the president and the vice president of the Commonwealth. They wanted to continue their work within the family. But it was Charles, it was William who insisted that they would have to go. And when Harry said he got the syndrome for that summit, that it was very clear that his three options turned into one option, and that was the highway. All the other two was off the table. All was left was moving on down the line. And Harry was absolutely shell shocked by it. But yes, it was always Harry and Meghan's intention to absolutely continue to work within the institution and for the Queen. And then it goes to say that originally the couple, who was new parents to 8-month-old Prince Archie at the time, intended to split their time between the UK and North America and sought to continue to honor our duty to the Queen. Yes, yes, yes. This is what was their intentions, but they wanted that, but that family and that media over there wanted to twist it as if Harry and Meghan didn't want to have anything to do with that. They didn't want to do their duties. But that was the narrative. They did not want to do their duty. They no longer wanted to be a part of the family. They absolutely would. They just wanted to leave. But in actuality, they was not given a choice to stay. It was not a choice on the table for them to stay. It was just to move on down the line, if you know what I mean. And so I am so glad that if we're going to rehash everything, let's rehash it and say exactly what went on here. And it says, yeah, that it says their intentions were to split their time between the UK and North America and sought to continue to honor the duty uh, our duties to the Queen and the Commonwealth and our patronages. The statement said this geographic balance will enable us to raise our son with the appreciation for the royal tradition into which he has been born, while also providing our family with the space to focus on the next chapter, including the launch of a new charitable entity. See, they already was planning Archwell. They wanted their own because at the end of the day, when they were over there with William and Kate, they weren't doing nothing but stealing their ideas and taking the credit for it and sabotaging everything that Harry and Meghan did. And that is when Meghan, and this is what I believe, even, all the projects that Meghan did, she had to go through the what is it, the Royal Foundation, which was at the time they were sharing with William and Kate. And we all know how that staff was cutting up because they wanted to sabotage Harry and Meghan's project, especially Meghan, because Meghan was showing them up for the mediocres that they were. Absolutely. But let's go on. And it says the statement concluded that Harry, 40, and Meghan, now 43, wish to continue to collaborate with Her Majesty the Queen and the Prince of Wales, King Charles, who is King Charles now, and the Duke of Cambridge, who is Prince William, as a relevant parties. Until then, please accept our deepest thanks for your thoughts, and the announcement ultimately came on January the 8th. And y'all know why they did that. You know why they pulled the trigger. Because they had leaked to Dan Wooten that Harry and Meghan was leaving. That Harry and Meghan wanted to do this. They absolutely had leaked that. Charles, William, or both of them. And it says the first hint of the couple leaving their working royal roles happened 3 months prior in October 2019 when they announced their intentions to take a 6 week off to spend family time together, ultimately doing so on Vancouver Island and not at Sandringham with the rest of the royal family, as was tradition. In fact, Harry and Meghan visited Canada House in London to thank them for their hospitality during their Vancouver Island stay on January 7, just one day before their bombshell announcement. And they absolutely was pushed into that announcement because you remember Dan Wooden had been fed that information. Absolutely. It said 5 days after the news broke on January 13th, Harry, Charles, and William met with the Queen at Sandringham, where she remained following the Christmas holiday in what has now become known as the Sandringham Summit. After the 90-minute discussion, the Queen released an uncharacteristically emotional statement saying, in part, today my family had a very constructive discussion on the future of my grandson and his family. My family and I are entirely supportive of Harry and Meghan's desire to create a new life as a young family. Entirely supportive. When has Charles ever put out anything like that? He has never put out any kind of statement. I think he made one statement after they had left, and he did the didn't he do some kind of speech or something like that, and he absolutely mentioned them. I think when he first became king, his first speech or his first address, and he said that he mentioned Harry and Meghan, but not since then, and he has never done anything to support them. Ever, ever. And the Queen said in her statement, "My family and I are entirely supportive of Harry and Meghan and their desire to create a new life as a young family." The monarch continued, "Although we would have preferred them to remain full time working members of the royal family, we respect and understand their wish to live a more independent life as a family while remaining a valued part of my family." The Queen had always made sure that people understood that Harry and Meghan was a valued part of their family. Charles never have done that. Absolutely. Never. He has never shown any kind of love, affection, or any kind of acknowledgement that Harry and Meghan are a part of that family and a love part of that family. Went on to say, Harry and Meghan's exit from royal life officially begun March 31st, 2020, following a number of engagements that month as the couple wrapped up work with many royal patronages and made headlines with appearances at London's Endeavour Fund Awards on March 5th, the Mountbatten Festival of Music at the Royal Albert Hall on March 7th, and a tense reunion with the members of the royal family at the Commonwealth Day service on March 8th. And we're going to stop it right there because we're going to pick up next podcast. We're going to talk about that whole thing, what happened at the Commonwealth services, and some of the fashion that Meghan wore when they were absolutely saying goodbye, and what happened during that time. I am gonna love this. We're gonna do a series. I think I'm gonna love this series. Just looking back, since they want to look back and say they ain't got over it. Well, we'll look back and we're gonna tell the truth about what absolutely happened. So we're gonna start right there, and tomorrow we will pick it up from there. I'm gonna put this up, and this, was posted on X, and I went and read the article. But this particular squatty said this: Piers Morgan and Rupert Murdoch have parted ways. Is the fallout? I don't know how this squatty worded that, but I think they're saying, is this the fallout ahead of Prince Harry's court case? Let them sweat. Well, they posted the link to the article. I went and read the article, and basically, it's not a complete um, separation of the two. It's that Piers Morgan is going to take more control over Piers Morgan Uncensored. It's not going to fall under Murdoch's, because evidently Murdoch was the full owner of it. So now he is going to take on full ownership and be out there on his own. He has 3.6 million followers here on this app. And so basically, he wants to take control of it and be more like Megyn Kelly and who else? I think it's Tucker Carlson. To me, it's more like he is trying to take more control over his product, which is Piers Morgan Unfiltered. And I think I read up until 2029, he is going to be associated with Murdoch. He's going to have to share in the profits with Murdoch. But after that, it will be his and his alone. So that's what the break is about. I don't think it's anything to celebrate here. What makes me sick is he has 3.6 million followers here on this app, and he is making pretty good money. He is. So I don't feel a reason to celebrate. I know we try to look for a victory where we can get it, but this is no victory, and I don't think it has anything to do with Harry. I think it has everything to do with Piers Morgan trying to take more control over his brand. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I am going to put up this, and this is about Meghan McCain. We all know that Meghan McCain, she came out hard on our fave talking about that's why nobody likes you and nobody you're tone deaf and all this kind of stuff, but she didn't understand. She didn't realize the level of pushback and how hard the squatties and supporters of Megan was going to come in and wreck and rattle her cage. And that's exactly what they did. And now she has absolutely limited her comments. If you are not a follower or somebody that she approves, you absolutely have to get approval from her to make a comment. And I still went in under this particular comment of hers, and people were still roasting her. So evidently, it's some people that she has approved that doesn't approve of her because they were still roasting her, even the ones that could get through to make comments. And it is funny to me. And this particular squatty said this: it's called F around and find out. Megan's done nothing to no one, yet you all hate her for breathing. Even if you limit replies, I'll screen grab a still cause you nasty arse out if you ever dare to go after Megan again. Enough. Yes, go pick on someone your own size. Bye, biatch. And this is the kind of energy that everybody has been serving up to her ever since she brought herself to the front to make a comment about Megan. They have absolutely been pushing back equally or harder, absolutely serving up the same energy or more. And she absolutely could not take it. She can absolutely dish it out, but she cannot take it. And this is what she had the nerve to say, trying to play the victim, trying to pretend like the people who are absolutely pushing back on her nonsense wish her ill. This is what she said: I've decided to limit who can reply to my tweets to verified accounts because, yet, frankly, too many of you are emotionally unstable. And how too many of us are emotionally unstable. We are just serving the same energy back to you. You must be unstable because we only push it back with equal force. But she could not handle it. It says, and have been messaging me, you're mad that my breast mask wasn't cancerous because I criticized Meghan Markle cooking teaser. She is a lie. Because who in the world knew anything about her breast mask? But this is her playing victim. This is her white woman tears. This is her trying to drum up more hate towards Megan, trying to reverse this whole energy that these people are coming in. Somehow, no, it's because of Megan that they're being mean to me. No, it's because of you, Biachi. It's because of you and your nonsense. And she up there talking about she criticized the teaser. No, she didn't criticize the teaser. She clearly came after Megan, saying that's the reason why everybody hates you. She said that. And now that people are absolutely serving her back up with the same energy, but they serving it cold, she can't handle it. And like I said, I went in on her page where this is posted. And even the verified ones, even the ones that she absolutely has approved to be able to reply, is roasting her. It's eating her up and leaving no crumb. So she absolutely did herself no favors by limiting the comments because little did she know, even the people with the blue checks, even the ones that verified, even the ones that she approved, cannot stand her arse. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I am going to post a few posts about Guy and some of my favorite ones that came off of the video that Megan posted. And I'm going to put this one up. This is Megan, Lily, and the dogs, which is Guy. Look at Guy, Guy, and Poola, and Mama Mia. Yes, Guy is the little one over there by Lily. He's gonna be so missed. I'm telling you. And look at this one. This is Harry and Guy. I'm telling you, it. I bet they have to go and do something and have like a special night or something to try to get their minds off the fact that they have lost their little guy. But look at Harry. And Harry said he always wanted a dog, but he absolutely lived a nomadic life and it was never inducive for him to have one. And then Megan came along with Guy. And because he loved her, he fell in love with everything that she had, and that included Guy. And can you not see he loved Guy? Look at that. Oh my God. What a beautiful, beautiful picture. Mm. I love it. And look at this one. It says, what a beautiful picture with her and her dog, Guy. He was with her through the ups and downs and left when he knew that she was finally in a good place. Yes, yes. Look at Guy. He had a great life. He did. He really, really did. He was so loved. And I don't think a dog can ask for anything better than that. I'm just saying. And I'm going to put this one up. And y'all remember when she did her 40 plus 40, I think that was the name of the campaign when she turned 40. And look at Guy. And Guy is all through this series, she says. And you're going to find out why they loved him so much. You're going to fall in love with him too. And Guy always was her guy. He always loved Megan. He went where Megan was. She gonna miss him. And this particular squatter said this: my most favorite photos of Guy with Harry and Megan. The little guy wasn't even mine, and I'm heartbroken completely for Harry and Megan. That's the way I was. I'm telling you, I was in tears. I was in tears. But yeah, look at that. I love it. I love it, y'all. And this one right here, I was talking about this picture earlier. And while they're hating on Megan, Megan is round there in her garden eating her fruit that she has raised, her vegetables and whatnot with her dog. She was with her dog. And it says, in all the sadness, this picture makes me smile because with all of the obsession with Megan online and targeted hate from the media, she's basically just walking around in her garden with her dog. She's living her life fully, and there are people in hospital beds making videos about her. And y'all, I'm telling you, it is a TikTok out there that this woman who has cancer and is getting, now this is what I heard. I hadn't watched it and I have not looked for it because I'm not giving one click to nonsense like that. So I didn't look for that, but it is a lot of posts being made about this woman who is in a hospital getting chemotherapy treatment and posting hate videos about Megan. And this is what they're talking about. This is how deep it is for some of those people that you would do something like that. And Megan is in her garden enjoying her life. And yet here you are, you know, should be focused on getting better, but you focus on hating her. What a waste. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up and y'all know what it means. And they best know what it means. Because at the end of the day, we are the Sussex Squad and we protect Harry and Meghan at all costs. I've been doing it today. I've been in folks' comments, pushing back all day long, and I have enjoyed every bit of it. Because at the end of the day, if you mess with them, we're going to eat your face off. We just are. All right, y'all. Bye.